Now, the northern part of Michigan was hit hard by a historic ice storm in late March, and it's left devastation and wake all the way up to about now. Weeks later, the state is still grappling with the aftermath, as hundreds of miles of forest, as well as even thousands left without home or without electricity, are still in effect. Mackinac Island, a beloved destination off of Michigan's northern coast, was one of those areas hit the hardest. So it raises the question, will the summer capital of the world, as it's known, be ready to welcome visitors later this month? To find out more, we turn now to the City of Mackinac's Fire Chief, Jason St. Onge. Chief, I want to thank you for spending some time with us here this afternoon, and I want to ask you to describe the extent of this damage, especially across Mackinac Island, from that ice storm that happened weeks ago.
Sure, and it's my pleasure to be here. The storm, it was forecasted. It wasn't a surprise. And however, the forecast was between 0.2 to 0.4 of an inch of ice. And we ended up actually measuring the ice in inches. And it was widespread destruction of trees and power lines. We were real fortunate on Mackinac Island that a lot of our electrical service is underground. So we were only without power for about a day here, but I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the surrounding areas. They're still out in places, and it's slowly coming back on. But on the island, we fared pretty well.
Okay, that's some good news there. I know these images that were coming in were just devastating, seeing some of that ice that collected. And we know that, as you mentioned, there are still people that are left in the dark, even this far out from the storm. Now, I do want to ask that the storm's damage, it raised a concern for this upcoming tourist season. How confident are you that the island will be able to welcome visitors later this month?
Yeah, and in fact, we're already starting to see some visitors. Since it was an event that we knew was coming, we were prepared, we had meetings, and we were able to execute our plan almost instantaneously. And since then, major roads were cleaned up within the first couple of days, and then secondary roads and the power lines were picked up. We did get some help last week from the Michigan National Guard. That was instrumental in helping us, but we've kind of joked that reports of our death have been greatly exaggerated.
Well, that's fair. Recovery efforts, though, I know that you mentioned that off the island, that has still been a challenge. So how has that been trying to restore some normalcy?
Yeah, there are a lot of mutual aid electrical crews are working across the northern counties, Sheboygan County, Otsego County, and probably Emmett to a lesser extent. And it's kind of some rural areas and a little bit of swampland, so it's pole by pole, house by house. But near as I can tell from the daily reports, they've really turned the corner, and hopefully just a few more days. But when you say a few more days after it's been 2 weeks, that's quite a ways.
Absolutely, and that's the real challenge of all of this, right? Still having that patience to get through the next couple of days, given what you've been going through. Before we let you go, I do want to ask, any support other than the National Guard, maybe from state or federal agencies that also have been helping with this recovery effort?
Yeah, along with the National Guard, we had a MABUS strike team, Michigan Automated Box Alarm System. They sent a chainsaw strike team, and they came with the Guard, and they really helped. But I do want to echo the sentiment that the island is doing much better than everybody else. We're starting to see some visitors. If you came over today, you could rent a bike, have lunch, and ride it around Mackinac Island without any problem.
Awesome. I was just going to ask if you were to, talk about your favorite thing to do there on the island, just to kind of welcome people in, what would it be? But lunch and a bike ride sounds pretty good to me. So I'm glad you guys have turned the page, and definitely wish you all the best with the rest of your recovery efforts in the weeks ahead. That's Fire Chief Jason St. Onge with the City of Mackinac Island. Thank you so much.